everyone, Dean Rojas here, and I get to talk about one of my favorite subjects, obviously, and that is frog fishing. It's been quite a journey from when I actually learned how to fish the frog a different way that pretty much now is the consensus of all the guys on how they fish it throughout the whole country. It was a really unique thing. So I want to just kind of tell you a little history about how it all came about, because I get asked that all the time, and how it just really came to what it is today. And we've been doing this now. We built the Spro Frog 17 years ago, almost to the day when we launched it at an ICAST event coming up in the summertime of the Frog Days of Summer, obviously. So the great thing about that is I want to tell you the story of how it all began. When I was living in Lake Havasu, I had a friend of mine that had like a snag-proof frog, which was one of the good frogs back then. I mean, it was a staple for frog fishing pads. But anyways, a friend of his was just having some fun with it and would like skip it way back underneath trees or overhanging, tules or cane or whatever, just kind of dark places that you would never throw a bait. So the beauty of the frog is it doesn't get hung up. So you could throw it back in that stuff, and I'll never forget it. And he goes, "Dean, watch this," and he throws it in there with reckless abandon, okay? It wasn't like, he was purposely trying to throw it all the way in the tree. And when he did that, and he goes, "Oh, isn't that cool?" As it goes way back there, and he's kind of walking it through there, and it's kind of navigating it through there, and I'm like, "Oh, that's cool. That's neat." We go up to the next tree, and he does the same thing, and he gets it all the way back. He goes, "Oh, I'm all the way back there," and he got like 2 twitches on that thing, and the whole thing just erupted. Just a big explosion, right? And he rears back and sets the hook. The frog comes flying out of there, and I'm like, "Oh yeah, dang frog! You can't catch anything on those things. You get bites on it, but it's a low hookup percentage." And so I was fishing the tour then. I was fishing the Bass Elites at the time. And so, I'm like, that's all right. So he goes, "Oh man, that was a good one." So we go down a little bit further, and I flip up to the next tree, right? And I don't get a bite. So he grabs the frog again, and he goes, fires it back in there again. And again, after I just fished it, 2 twitches on it. Boom! And he pulls a 4-pounder out of there. And then I stopped there and went, dang, I see this now, which I've seen so many, situations, back here in the South that have those exact type of situations. And then the wheels started turning. And then I'm like, "Get me one of those." So he gave me one. All I had was mono at the time. I didn't have braid, He was throwing it on braid, and back then braid wasn't like braid is today. So it was really rough and coursey and everything. So, but I threw it on mono, and I couldn't skip it. I couldn't cast it. It just wouldn't do anything. So that was just the way it was. And so fast forward now to today, and all the changes and all the evolution of how that all came about, of having the right equipment. And I'm going to go over that here on a Bass University and talk about all the things and why it's important to have the right reel, the right rod, the right line, and the right bait. So that's the history of how the skipping and the process of how that was introduced to me and how I was able to build upon that and grow and expand into the Spro Frog. 17 is still the best-selling frog on the market. It's sustained, countless people copying it, doing different things, but the Spro is the best. I designed it to be the best. I drew this one up, on a piece of paper. I have everything. This is my creation here. So and I wanted to make it the best I could make it. So, but that's the backstory of it all, and we'll follow through right into the next episode of the Bass University.